Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to Advanced Bass Fishing, and appreciate you guys swinging by the channel today for the episode. And guys, I want to have a little discussion on lures and why certain times of the year some lures work and others they just won't work at certain times of the year. For example, you can catch a lot of fish on like a jigging spoon or a jerk bait or an Alabama rig in the wintertime. It's a really good wintertime deal, but in the heat of the summer, not so much. Why is that? Why do bass react to certain lures at certain conditions, certain times of the year? We're going to dig into that, and I think it'll give you a little bit better understanding about how to choose your lures based upon the season here. Also, guys, thank you very much, man. If you guys are looking for some lures, thank you everybody that's been taking time to use and bookmark my Tackle Warehouse link. It's in every video description. Guys, if you like the content here and it's helping you catch some fish and you want to give something back to the channel, number one way to do it, guys, is just to use that Tackle Warehouse link of mine in this video description. Just bookmark it whenever you need to get some gear. If you use that, the channel gets a small percentage of a commission on anything you buy. If you buy one lure out there, get a little bit of commission on the profit. So I really appreciate everybody that's been doing that. And also, guys, real quick, anybody interested in booking a personal one-on-one on the water lesson with me, just go to my Facebook page, Intuitive Angling with Randy Blaukat, and you can shoot me a private message for details. So really appreciate that. Okay, guys, lures categories are all over the place. I mean, you've got hard bait, twitch bait, you got jigs, you got chatter baits, you got swim baits, you got top water lures, you got crank baits, just everything. It's so intimidating at times. There are so many lures. It's like you go to one of those big box tackle stores, and just the wall of plastic baits they have alone is intimidating. They got every color you could think. They got worms, they got creature baits, they got tubes, they got grubs. So where do you begin? So it is a little bit intimidating in terms of lures when you're just talking about lures. But what I want to talk about specifically in today's video is why is it that certain times of the year you can catch a lot of fish on one lure category and one type of lure, and then other times of the year you just can't catch many fish on it. Now, this is a lot of different reasons for this. Now, I'm not saying that you can't, like it's impossible, but the odds of, like, for example, if you and I go fishing in January here on Table Rock Lake, the odds of us catching bass on the same lures that we caught bass in January, like in August, are like next to nothing. They're not going to bite it. So what is it if something looks alive in the water, why is it that it works at certain times of the year and others? So here's the thing that you have to remember is I talk about this a lot, and I've never heard anyone else talking about it, but bass have specific personalities and moods that they get into that are different every single month of the year. They are. It's like literally every single month of the year, something is a little bit different. Now that the difference could be something that is caused by a water temperature change, a water level change, a water clarity change, a daylight hour change. One of the things that I think has a big impact in it is the length of the daylight hours. I mean, the number of hours that we have in the daylight hours in January is significantly different than what we have in June. And there's a lot of reasons that we don't understand, but bass react to that. So it's a combination of a lot of different things. And it's a combination also of the point within the year in and around the spawn, because a bass's entire life revolves around the spawn. Aside from the spawn, which is the most important time of their life, the reproductive, period of the year, they're just out to survive. They're feeding and surviving throughout the course of the year, and how they feed and what they feed upon has a lot to do with a lot of different conditions. Sometimes those fish are in a chasing mood. Sometimes they're not in a chasing mood. And it's not like one or the other. Sometimes on a scale of 1 to 10, there can be different levels that they are interested in chasing. Say, for example, if you've got a warm water, low light condition, clear water, that's really conducive to the fish really being in the chasing mode. And if you've got warm water and say a little bit more stained condition like that and some other variables, they could still chase but not quite as much. And the same with a slow bait. So one of the things that we have to do as anglers is we have to identify the level of the bass in terms of their need and want and desire to chase versus not chase. And that gives you a good indication of your lure selection. So this is combined. There's a lot of factors that add into this. A lot of it doesn't make any sense. Along with the factors that I just laid out, a lot of it can be with the type of cover that you're fishing. A lot of it can be with the amount of fishing pressure that you get. And that's a big one, guys, because you can take a body of water that does not get much fishing pressure at all, and you're apt to catch some fish on anything you throw simply because they haven't seen it. But what happens as that lake gets more pressure from not only fishing pressure, but recreational boat pressure, the window and the amount of different type of techniques and approaches that a bass will respond to gradually shrink up. So let me sort of frame this, and this gives you a good idea of the whole picture of this video. Let's say we go to a private lake, maybe like 100-acre private lake that hasn't had anybody fish it for 10 years. And these fish have an entire generation has never even seen a lure. You could literally probably take any bait in my tackle room here, and my baits are designed by season. I got seasonal lures, but I bet you could take any lure in my tackle room here and catch a bunch of fish on a lake that the fish haven't seen a lure for 10 years. But if you go to a heavily fished body of water, let's say that you go to a lake that's 10 or 15,000 acres, and it has 5 tournaments a weekend on it. It's got people running around all the time on it. It's got people fun fishing. You've always got activity and high noise decibel levels. That is when it shrinks up to next to nothing. That's why seasonal lures are more important on heavily fished bodies of water. But ultimately, it's a matter of just being a student of the bass. And this is one of the things that I always talk about a lot in my videos is you have to become a student of the bass, and you have to learn about seasonal movements and patterns and behavior patterns of the fish. And this gives you a good indication of the lure selection that's going to work from month to month because it changes. So that's sort of in a nutshell why they don't. A lot of it just boils down, guys, just to their mood and their personality. It's nothing more than that. And sometimes that's a little bit of a mystery. Sometimes it doesn't make sense, but it is what it is. Just one more reason that bass fishing is the most difficult sport on earth. So anyway, hope it helps, guys. We'll talk later.